So you've decided to go on your first cruise. Hey, congratulations. It is still my favorite way to travel. But I understand that you probably have a lot of questions, you're probably nervous, and hopefully that's where I could come in to help you out a little bit. Hey, my name is Lisa. I'm from Canada, and I fell in love with cruising later on in life. Since I started, I've been to over 20 countries and islands around the world, and I'm here to help you out in any way that I can. So today, I'm going to bring some of my favorite tips and tricks that I've learned over my travels. One of my favorite strategies that I've learned is to book my excursions before I get on the ship. In fact, I will try to book them as early as I can. A bunch of reasons for that. One of them is because, well, they will sell out. So if I don't book them before I get on the ship, there's an excursion that I might not be able to get on because it was booked before the ship even left its port. So I like to be organized and make sure that I've got everything covered before I even get on the ship. The other thing is that the price might go up once I get on the ship. And I don't want to be, having to have those extra costs when I get on the ship. I like to have everything prepaid. So when I get on, all I have is spending money. That's all I need to focus on is what souvenirs am I going to bring home to my family? And that's it. Any sort of incidentals. I've seen way too often people getting on the ship and they think, oh, we'll just book an excursion the day before. Well, there's going to be lots of times when they're going to be out of luck because everything has already sold off. There's only so many seats available on these excursions. So I don't want to be one of these people who are left, high and dry with nothing to do. These excursions have also been previously vetted for safety, and they are being endorsed by the cruise line. So you know that there's safety measures in place, the people are legit, the company that is picking you up and taking you on your excursion is legit. So especially as a solo traveler, I feel more safe going with these excursions. And speaking of safety, if anything should go wrong, like say, for example, you're on an excursion, you're coming back to the ship and the bus breaks down and you're late, like you're 2 hours late getting back to the ship. You were supposed to be back at 7 and it's now 9 and you're still not back to the ship yet. If it is an excursion that was booked by the cruise line you're on, especially, I tend to go with Princess all the time. And no, I am not being sponsored by Princess. I just like sticking with them because I like to, I know what to expect with them. And I get, it's like frequent flyer or loyalty program. So I tend to go back to them all the time. But they will actually hold the ship for an excursion that is booked through them. If you are with a private company, let's say that you booked a random taxi driver and to say, let's take me all over the place, and for some reason you get bogged down in traffic or their car breaks down and you don't get back to the ship on time, too bad, so sad, man. They will take off without you. And I have seen people running down the dock trying to get back to the ship on time, and the ship has already sailed. That expression, that ship has sailed, I've seen it happen in real time. Little tip number 2 I'd like to give you is also, as well as booking your excursions ahead of time, book your dining options ahead of time, especially if you're going in a group. So what happens is you've got informal type little places that you can go in and get food at any time, the buffet being one of them. But if you want to get into the dining room like I do all the time, because that's my favorite place, then booking it ahead of time. So if you have a big group, you can book the same time, the same table, you have the same wait staff. So you end up having that relationship with these people over the time of your cruise. And it just adds an extra layer of comfort, familiarity, fun. And you can rely on that table being ready for you at that time every single day. As a solo traveler, I like to book it not necessarily the same table, but I want to make sure that I'm going to get into the dining room at a certain time over the first few days. But I like to mix it up, so I never book the same table. I like to just book a certain time and then they'll say, would you like to eat with other people? And I say, absolutely, because this way I get to meet people from all over the place, and I really enjoy that. Tip number 3, if you are a solo traveler, which I have been a lot lately, don't worry about dining alone or what am I going to do by myself. There are always little opportunities for the solo travelers to get together to meet. And on one of the last cruises I was at, I waited a little too long to get to know these people, and I kind of regretted that because I wish I would have jumped in right at the very beginning. There's a certain time, it's in the itinerary. Every day we get an itinerary, and there was an itinerary time frame and place where it said, hey, this is if you're a solo traveler. I misunderstood it as a meet and greet, as in like dating. And I thought, I don't want anything to do with that. But I realized after that it's just for solo travelers to meet and to have a camaraderie. And so once I figured that out, then we actually met up for dinner quite a few times in the last few days. And it was super nice. In fact, we're still on each other's email. Tip number 4 is all about if you're worried about being seasick. So here's a little strategy for you. When you think about the ship, it's going to rock this way and it's going to rock this way. So honestly, the best place to stay is right in the middle. So I prefer to be in a room with a balcony, so that means I'm going to be on the outside. But I always tend to go right in the midship area. And I also tend to make sure that I'm a little bit on the lower levels. So, I mean, it depends on the ship and how many floors they have. But let's say if there's 16 floors, then I would try to get into floor number 9, 10, or 11 in there somewhere. 11 is my magic number, so I tend to try to get on deck 11 all the time just for superstitious reasons. But try to get as midship as possible. And if you're really concerned, even take an inside stateroom, because the more in the middle you are, the least amount of rockiness you're going to experience. However, I am a huge believer in balconies because I absolutely love having my morning coffee on the balcony in my house coat. There's nothing like getting up in the morning, having your coffee and watching dolphins. It's just a magical moment. And tip number 5 would be to always watch the sales to see if you can get repriced. This has happened to me a few times. So for example, let's say I booked for a cruise in February, but I booked it back in, April of the year before, right? So when I'm watching that same cruise, if there's a chance that there's a sale that comes on and now the price is cheaper for the exact same cruise, I just phone up my lady, her name is Jeannie, and I go, hey Jeannie, look at the price is lower, can you do something about this? And she will actually rebook it for me at the lower cost. The Mediterranean cruise that I went on with my son and his wife, I was able to save myself $800 by doing that. And in fact, Jeannie, my girl, she's actually phoned me and said, hey Lisa, that cruise that you're on, it's coming in at a cheaper price. You want me to reprice it for you? Yes, I do. Of course I do. So keep an eye on it, because you just never know when you can actually get the same cruise for a much cheaper price. Well, there you go, my friends. There's 5 little tips there that I hope will help make your first cruise a little easier to navigate. I know there's an awful lot of information, and if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I would love to be able to help you out. If I don't know the answer, I will definitely look it up and try to help you out as best I can. And if you found this video helpful, then please hit that like and subscribe button, because I do really want to make a difference and help people out. So let's get this channel going. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.